Welcome back everyone to another On COVID Sunny video. Today we are here with Sarah at Active Life Conditioning, where she's the owner and also a certified exercise physiologist and has helped many athletes over the years from all different sports. Today she'll be running us through a perfect warm-up routine. So when you go onto the court, you're ready to go, you're loose, and you're able to optimize your time on the court and also avoid injuries. All right, Sarah? So I think I'm ready to go. You ready to go?
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
So let's go through the first exercise.
For sure. So as you know, tennis is a dynamic sport. So your warm-up should be dynamic in nature. You don't want to be doing a bunch of static stretching and things like that before you get on the court. So there's three parts to the warm-up. There's the dynamic warm-up, which we're going to start with. There's something to get your central nervous system firing, which is what's responsible for quick movement and reactivity. And then the third part is what I call pre-hab. And those are the kind of injury prevention specific to the sport of tennis. Okay.
Perfect.
So we'll start with the dynamic warm-up. You don't have to go for a little jog around, but it's good if you've kind of walked around or at least done a little lap around the building or come out of your car or whatever, wherever you are. So we're going to start from the bottom, work our way up. Okay. So we're going to start with your ankles and we're going to do what's called a heel toe walk. Okay. So you're going to focus on your heel touching down and then you're going to roll up off your toe. And then the next heel touches down. So the idea is that you're rolling through your ankle and getting through full range of motion in your ankles, top to bottom. Good, yeah. So heel toe, good. And try and push through your big toe at the top as well as your pinky toe instead of rolling out on the outside of your foot. Yeah, that looks great. How's it feel?
Feels great.
Okay, good, good. So then you're gonna turn and face me and we're gonna work up the chain a little further and we're gonna do a hip hurdle. You're going to focus on keeping your body square, but your thigh bone is going to do a semicircle. And then you're going to take a step. So you're going to go up. You're going to do that full semicircle. So make sure your thigh goes behind you first and then comes around and try and work that full range of motion and then take a step and then do the next one.
And then forward.
Yeah. So you're going to actually step as you go each time. There you go. Yep. Good. And we have a link to all the sets and reps that you want to be doing for these. That looks really good. So you want to feel like your hip socket is a ball. It's a ball and socket. So you want to make sure you're working through that full ball and socket as best you can. Obviously, there's tight muscles that might be stopping you from getting as far as you want, but you want to try and work through that. Good.
Perfect. Yeah, that feels good actually.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's lubricating your joints too, right? Getting them ready. So next one we're going to do is you're going to face this way and we're going to take this outside leg and we're going to do a high knee crossover. So again, I want to use my core to keep myself square here. You're going to do a high knee crossover and then you're going to step out and I'm going to get a little adductor stretch on both sides and then I'm going to come up again. Okay, so high knee crossover. Up. Yep.
And then
cross. Step down and then you're going to step that foot wide. Good. And focus on keeping your chest up as you go through both. And as you come up, you're going to bring that leg up again. Cross over and then sit into it. Adductor, adductor, and then come up, cross over. There you go. Good. And we better do a couple the other way just so you're equal and we don't pull anything today. So now you're going to start
That's definitely the goal.
That's right. You're going to start with that left leg and we're going to cross over and then sit into that. Perfect. Oh, a little cracking and crunching this morning. Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. Better now than on the tennis court. And up and over. Good. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to link our upper body and our lower body together. So you're going to bring your arms up into a Y position. So you're sort of like a YMCA. You've done that dance for sure. So try not to bend your elbows. Okay, you want to keep your arms straight, but you also want to keep your chest up. So you're going to get a lot of mid-back mobility out of this movement. Okay, so now you're going to do a squat with your arms in this position. All right, so feet kind of hip distance apart. You're going to sit your hips back to start. So start the movement by your hips going back, and then your knees bend, and you continue down into that
all the way down.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good looking squat, Sonny. Good. Now keep your head up and keep going. And I want you feel how that's a good amount of work for the upper back and shoulders, which is a huge part of tennis, right? So
and I'm trying to keep the shoulders back.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want to have those shoulders up around your ears. You want to keep the shoulder blades set down into your back pockets, and you want to fight to keep that chest up. I'm impressed. That's a good looking, that's a hard movement. That's a good overhead squat.
Thank you.
Now, some of you that are watching are going to have maybe some shoulder injuries or some tightness in your upper back, which actually is connected. When your upper back is tight, we see a lot of shoulder injuries. So if you need to go a little bit wider, so go into a T with your arms, so the arms come down here. If you need to be here, I still want you to think about keeping space here, okay? I don't want to see you in this position and then try to fight to think about reaching those fingertips away from you and go down into that squat. So if your shoulder is an issue. If you're not able to do this movement though, you're probably struggling to play tennis as well. All right, so our last one I'm gonna give you, so you just stay there. I'm just gonna get a pad for you to put your knee on. So if you have a pillow or something at home, you're gonna put one knee down on that, like that, and then you're gonna bring your other foot in front. Okay, so this is called the groiner, okay? And you'll see why in a second.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we're gonna bring our hands down on either side of that foot. And your job is to try and drop that back knee down as far as you can. Good, good. And from here, we're gonna lift this hand up and we're gonna exhale. So we wanna exhale as we rotate because that allows the rib cage to move. Good. And then we're gonna inhale as we come back down. And then we're gonna go the other way. And this way is sticky and it's a little bit harder to balance. And you're gonna exhale. And then your hand goes down, and then we're gonna go the other side. So you're gonna go back, keep going back and forth. Really good. And try and make sure you're using your breath when you're doing this, because as I mentioned, when you exhale, as you rotate, it affects, obviously, because your lungs are here, it allows you to get that little bit more rotation. It's a lot like what you teach us on the court to exhale as we hit the ball so that we can create that power and that fluidity of movement. Okay, good. So let's do the other leg just for a couple, just so we don't pull anything when we get into the more central nervous system stuff. So the setup is just one knee down, and you want to try and get that back knee as far back as you can. And this back hip, you want to try and get it as close to the ground as you can. Okay. So then you drop those hands down. Yeah, good. And then it's an exhale to open up. So where are you feeling this one?
Here.
Yep. So deep into the hips, and then a little bit maybe chest and upper back as you do the rotation.
Yes, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then by going both ways, we're making sure that we're rotating both ways, but we're also rotating our hips both ways as well. Because as soon as you move your upper body on your lower body, you're getting different internal and external rotation in your hips, which is really important because in tennis, that's happening a lot.
That's our energy core, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, good. How are you feeling? You're loose?
Definitely looser, yeah.
Okay, good, good. So those are some, and there's 101 different things you can do, obviously, and people will find the things that are their favorite things to do. Those are just some basics that cover kind of a lot of the bases with the lower body, especially. So now we're going to go into the central nervous system. So you're going to get really moving now. Okay?
All right.
So
Perfect.
the first one I like to do is butt kicks, okay? Because we get our hamstrings going. So you're going to jog that way. And I want you to think about your arms moving as well, because your arms time your legs and you're just jogging. Yep. Good. So getting those hamstrings fired up. If you got any big lunging movements you got to do on the court, that'll protect you. Yeah. Good. And you can add a little bit of nervous system even more. If I said just your right leg kicks the butt, what are you going to do? Just the right leg.
Just right leg.
Yep. So here.
That's going to be tough.
Yep, here. That's how I feel on the court sometimes. There it is, there it is, there it is. You got it. Good. So now just the left leg.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of thinking. Your subscribers will like to see Sunny have to think, just like when you tell us to do things.
Yeah,
yeah, good. Okay, awesome. So those are our butt kicks, and then we're gonna go into high knees. So you're just gonna jog high knees. Now I like to see the arms moving from the ears to the pockets. So my elbow stays at 90, and the height of my hand is pockets and ears to pockets. Ears to pockets, okay? So now you're gonna jog high knees. Yeah, really good. And I'm gonna do the same thing to you. I'm gonna say just the right leg, high knee. So every time that right foot touches, There, get those arms coordinated, other arm. So as this one comes up, it's the other arm. There it is, there it is. There you go. It's just like my top spin you're trying to teach me, or my volley. There it is, good. Now switch to the other leg, okay? Just to get the brain bending, yep. Good, and try and keep it fluid, right? So try and keep it so that every time that left foot touches the ground, you pop that left knee up. All right, good, and our third one, so you're gonna come across this way. So you're gonna do a karaoke, okay? So we know karaoke is this one where we cross the front, but I want you to do a high knee, because again, we need to get as much mobility and range out of our hips, right? To help you guys teach us what we need to learn. So high knee in front, and then low knee behind. Keeping my chest tall the whole time, and that knee comes up. Yes, good. And then let the arms just go. I want the arms to rotate, so you're moving back and forth. Yep, there it is. Lots of twist. Very nice, very nice. How's that feel?
Good.
Okay, and you can make it as dynamic as you want, where you really like fire that high knee up really quick. Yep, very good. Okay, so those are our central nervous system things. So those last three are the things that really get you sort of ready to be, making quicker movements, and it gets our body, especially if you've been sitting at your desk, you want to get your body kind of, ready for more explosive activity.
So far you've seen all the sets and reps on the screen as well as we were doing the exercises. At the end of the workout, we will put the whole workout on the screen as well, and then you'll be able to take a screenshot of it. So you can save it, or you can come back and watch the video. All right, Sarah, next thing.
So this third part, I would call a pre-hab. So these are the exercises that we need to be doing, not for rehab, but maybe they are rehab exercises, but we're trying to stop you from needing to rehab. So these are called pre-hab, so preventing rehabilitation, okay?
Yeah.
So they can be done, again, right before you play tennis. And some of these I do pick and choose and do right before I play, even just beside the net, I'll put my band on the net or whatever. But these can be done every single day as a tennis player for the key areas that we see getting injured. You can do this as an extension of your warm-up before you go play. You can do it before you warm up for the wonderful strength and conditioning workout that Sunny's gonna provide his members. So you can ask him more about that. And it's also something you can just do every day as a, health of shoulders, spine, knees, hips, all that stuff, okay? Sound good?
Yes, amazing.
You bought
Sounds
in?
amazing.
You bought
I'm
in?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought in.
This is just a little band. You can use any kind of band. It can be a TheraBand. It can be a band with loop handles. These are sort of like ones we use for chin-ups. So you're gonna take this band, you're gonna put it behind your back, and I want it sort of through, so my shoulder blades, kind of through the middle of your shoulder blades, okay? And then you're gonna grab onto it. So you're gonna go down on the mat on all fours. Okay, most people have heard of cat-cow. This is a cat-cow with a band, and what the band is doing is, what we find in cat-cow is most people move their neck and their low back, but they forget about this chunk in here. This is the chunk where we hold a lot of our stress. It requires a ton of movement for tennis players, of course, and that's how we generate our power. But it's also, this movement is what moves in concert with your shoulder blades, which actually helps to prevent shoulder injuries, okay? So that's why I'm harping away at this part of your back. Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind it even a little higher, so right through the armpits. So try and bring it up just a little so that we're here, yeah. Okay, so his shoulder blades we're even still a little low. So right there, okay. So we're kind of right at the bottom border of our shoulder blades. So now I want you to go into cat-cow, okay? Everyone's done this before probably. So that's cow, where we're in full extension. And now I want you to inhale as you go into cat. Okay, and the reason I want that is I want you to spread your shoulder blades apart. I want you to open your rib cage up, and he's got a nice rounded position, especially here. Can you feel the band here? Yeah. So you have to work, and it brings proprioception and awareness for your brain to this section of your spine. So now I want you to inhale as you go down into cow, and you're gonna feel how the band sort of pulls you down. So now you're aware of this section of your spine moving. It's not just here and here, but we're actually having to move through here. So keep going through that. I want you to inhale and spread everything open here, get as much range as we can, and exhale as everything drops down. So now we're gonna take this section of our back and we're gonna move it in rotation, which is a lot more what we need in tennis, okay? So you can take the band off and you're gonna lay on your side, probably facing the garage door. You're gonna hold the band in both hands. And I want you to stack your knees up and sort of like you're sitting in a chair. Yeah, just like that, perfect. Now you're gonna lay right down and you're gonna have your hands out, and that's called close the book. Okay, now this hand, the bottom hand's gonna stay where it is. The top hand is gonna as you exhale, you're gonna rotate. And you may you'll decide how much you wanna hold the band or how much tension you want. But now we're gonna take our spine through rotation with straight arms and an exhale to go that way. This hand stays here and you're gonna look to your hand all the way over, and you're trying to exhale and rotate. Can you put your head down? Yep, good. And then inhale to come back. There it is. And then you're gonna exhale and rotate. And I want you to try to keep your knees stacked up. Exhale, I wanna hear the exhale so that we know we're getting all that air out of our lungs and helping that T-spine move. So the knees stay stacked up the whole time. So what a lot of people will do is they'll lift this knee up and they'll let this go. Feel how you don't get as much rotation there, right? You need the knees together to plug the hips in and keep the hips locked in, and then the arms can move. And the key to the whole thing is the knees stacked up and also the exhalation as you're moving, okay? So a lot of times we'll find that if we're stressed out and we're rushed and we're running in to play, or we're just in general, like been sitting at our desk for a long time, we're holding our breath and we're breathing really shallow. Breath is a really important part of tennis from a obviously performance point of view, but also if you're a shallow breather and you're using your muscles of your neck and shoulders to breathe, you should be using the muscles deeper down. And if we're using these muscles here, then when we go to play tennis, we're actually using the muscles already to breathe, so they're already tired, and it becomes a bit of an issue when we start to ask for a serve or, any kind of power and explosive.
Any exertion move, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, good. So we got our spine moving. So now you're gonna flip onto your belly on the mat, and we're gonna do what's called a capsule articular rotation, a CAR. We call them shoulder CARs, C-A-R-S. So capsule articular rotation. Our shoulder joint needs to be able to move through its full range of motion. So you're gonna put your forehead right down on the mat. I want you to be able to relax your neck. Yeah, you can slide back. You're gonna start with your arms straight out and your thumbs up. So arms right out in front of you, good. As you move, I'm gonna get you to come to a T, and as you come to a T, we're gonna start rotating that humeral head, this arm bone here. Yep. And then as we go back towards our hips, the thumbs go down, and then we're gonna rotate the pinky fingers towards our hips. Keep your arms straight. Yep. And then we're gonna reverse that. So then you're gonna come back to a T and you're gonna go palms down, and then you're gonna keep going overhead and you're gonna go thumbs up. And even here, if you can let the thumbs drift out a little, then you're getting full twist. So it's almost like I'm squeezing, you can keep moving, I'm squeezing that shoulder blade, all the motion that I can out of it, and I'm really lubricating through that shoulder joint. And at the very end, see if you can, don't reach for your hip, but actually twist. Remember, it's all here. I don't care what your wrists are doing. It's all movement in that arm bone. Yep, and keep going.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then palms down when you get to a T, thumbs up when you get overhead, and even let the thumbs drift out to the side. Okay, good. Do you feel any pinching or tightness on one side versus the other?
No pinching.
Okay, good. Do you feel like one side feels tighter, or are you pretty equal?
The right side, I feel a bit more burned.
Yeah. And that right side is probably a little bit tighter because that's your
dominant side.
Tennis side, right? Yeah. So keep your forehead down though. I know you're talking, so you're lifting up, but you want to be able to relax your neck and you want to be able to just focus on this area here and taking it through its full range. And a good progression to this one is to start to hold something in your hand. Once you feel like you can get through that range of motion pain-free, you can take a little 1 pound dumbbell or a soup can or something that's got a little bit of weight to it and just hold it in your hands, and that will provide a little bit of resistance for you. That is one of my favorite exercises, and I think nobody ever regrets doing that one because that's full range of motion for your shoulders in a pain-free manner is absolutely crucial if you're going to be a tennis player. So we're gonna now, so that I would call an activation and mobility, because you felt there was work involved, right?
Oh, yeah,
There's
it was
muscle
burning,
work.
yeah.
Yeah, there was burning, but you're also creating mobility in your shoulders with strength. So now we're gonna move to the yoga block. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can use really anything. Sometimes we use a foam roller and just use the very end of the foam roller, but you're gonna kneel on the yoga block facing this way, and let's start with our left knee on the block. So now we're gonna start activating our core, okay? Your obliques are the muscles that wrap around your body like this, and they're responsible for rotation. So that's everything in tennis, right? Or it's supposed to be, okay?
Supposed to be, yeah.
And if this is not strong and not moving, we tend to see shoulder and elbow and wrist injuries
more arms,
because
smaller muscles.
Exactly, using the smaller muscles instead of using that full kind of chain. So we need to warm them up and we need to make sure they're strong and working. So you're gonna go into all fours as if you're gonna do a cat-cow. So the knee that's on the block, I'm gonna call the standing knee, okay? That thigh bone, I want you to keep taking a peek down and make sure it stays vertical, okay? So what sometimes people do is they shift their hips way over this way to try and do what we're gonna do. That takes you out of your core, okay? That cheat, okay? So this looks good so far. So now I want you to lift your I want you to lift your right knee up to the height of your left knee. So you're getting some rotation in your lumbar spine. So keep the foot at the same, it's just hovering above the ground, and try and really lift that thigh bone up. Come on, come up into my hand here. There it is, and then back down. Can you feel your core starting to work on that right side?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so those are your obliques. That's really good. And now I'm gonna get you to reach that right foot back, and I've got a slider there. If you're at home, you can just have a sock foot, but if you have your shoes on, your foot doesn't slide very well. So the opposite arm is gonna come up overhead. So this is a bird dog type position, but because we're tennis players, we need to have good hip mobility and stability. So you're gonna arc your left foot out to the side as far as you can. You're gonna slide it along the floor, and then you're gonna slide it back. And the whole time, this standing knee and thigh is staying vertical. And now you're really kicking into your obliques. You should feel a ton of work here. You feel that?
Oh yeah.
So what are you noticing with this one?
Hips for sure. And also in here.
Yep.
Shoulder,
standing
balancing
arm.
right here.
Yep. Good.
This is really good.
One more cue I would give is to push this standing arm up into my hand. So push yourself up into my hand. So now you're clicking into your serratus, which is a major stabilizer of your shoulder blade. So if you're thinking about pushing up and away here, you've got the perfect trifecta. You've got, your core work happening here. You've got some strength work happening here. So you've got this sling, but you've also got this sling because our body works in those crosses, and that's how we become a healthy tennis player. So now we're getting the ton of work in our hips, but muscle work as well as mobility. So I would walk your hands away from you just a little bit and then keep coming forward just a little bit there. So I like to see the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, okay? And then this standing thigh, the key to the whole thing is to keep this standing thigh vertical. And what you'll find, because tennis it's not unilateral, it's bilateral because we have forehand and backhand, but most people are dominant one side. So you'll often have one side that feels harder than the other. Like I feel like this side you don't want to stay standing vertically here on as much as you did on the other side for whatever reason.
Yeah, this one moves a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, and so good. And so I really want this foot to stay here, and all it is just this, that movement. That knee touches down, tap, tap the knee down to the ground so you're going all the way up and down. So if you have any low back issues, you maybe don't want to go as far with this range, but this is actually a really good exercise because you are getting some movement in your low back. It should move your lumbar spine, but you're getting that support. It's supported movement, which is really important. Okay, so now let's put that foot down on the slider. And again, you're in your socks if you're at home.
Now that we've done the other side, now I can feel a bit more of a burn in this side.
Okay.
But nothing too different from before, no?
Good.
It's good.
That's a good thing. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So that's warming up our core. Now, we're gonna take our shoulder cars one level further, and we're gonna take a band. Some of these ones are hard to do when you're at the tennis court because you're laying on the ground, it's not available, right? So this one is something that you can do, especially when you're outside in the summer on the net. So I typically would just take my band and I just put it around the net and I cross it. So you're gonna take that band in both hands. Yeah. And what I want you to do is I want you to walk forward until your arms are in line with your body. Okay, now this is a really light band, so you don't want a super heavy band or else you're gonna be recruiting the bigger muscles. I want you to use the smaller muscles for this, okay? So I want you to feel like you're reaching your knuckles for the ground, okay? And then you're gonna start to draw little circles. So the circles are coming from up here. The elbow stays straight, the wrist stays straight, and it's just motion happening through the shoulders. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good. And now I want you to change the shoulders right away. Great, change the direction. Yep, there we go, a little bit of thinking, good. And again, the goal is to stay in line with your body. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, just adjust the tension, move up and back.
Exactly. And you might have to move as we move our arms because now I'm gonna get you to go into a T. So bring your arms up to a T and you'll probably have to move a bit closer. Take a step towards the post, yeah? And now start doing those circles again. Yeah, excellent. Really good. And then also, as with all of them, it helps when you breathe, right? Yes. So if you're holding tension in your chest and shoulders, you can't move freely here, right? So, and just thinking about that, just nice, easy breath. And it's a good chance to kind of decompress and maybe think about something you're working on in your game and all that stuff, right? So you switch your directions in that. And then the third position is gonna be a Y position. So this one's tough. So you wanna come in nice and close. Exact same thing, start those motion. So as you're going, I want you to feel like you're minimizing the stress here and letting your shoulder blades, see if you can let them just slide into their back pocket. There you go, into their back pockets. Just let them fall. And then that motion can happen and all the strength can happen around here versus just up there. Okay, this is the hardest one because a lot of people get stuck up in their upper traps. And then you switch directions there too. So palms forward, so you're a little bit turning them up, just make sure they're, yeah, exactly. Yep. Excellent.
Ooh, burn.
I know, burn, it's a good one. And then I like to, at the end of this, I like to then keep the tension on and just bring my arms through sort of almost, I feel like I'm doing a snow angel with that tension. Make sure you breathe though. You're getting tense there. You're getting a little tired. Come all the way down by your hips and then all the way back up. Keep the palms facing forward. So you're here. Yep. There you go. Up and down. Good. And that's that car that we did on the mat as well in a bit of a different way. And you can mix, you know, if you're just beginning and you're maybe coming from a shoulder injury or something, maybe you just do this position and then you take a rest. And then you come into this position, take a rest. If you feel like you're up into here, you're missing the boat. So it's better to stop and rest and work up to creating enough endurance that you can finish with that whole sequence that you did. But it's important to hit all the positions because your arm gets in those positions with tennis.
Yes, all the time, yeah. For
okay.
Sure. That was good. That was really good.
Good. So we're going to go to the wall now, and we're going to do our last little prehab thing, which we love here, is for hips and knees, okay? We get a lot of hips and knee issues, right, in tennis, especially as people are getting older and they're maybe not keeping their strength up as much as they should, and the balance of hamstrings and quads. All you need is a wall. Even if you're outside, you can even use the tennis post. Yeah. You can use the fence probably as well, but what I'm doing is I'm taking this part of my leg from my knee to my ankle and I'm pushing it into the wall, okay? Now, I want my hip to be just a couple inches off the wall. So right away, I can feel work in my hips because I'm pushing hard into the wall, right? Yeah. Bring your foot right underneath you. So bring it in just a little so that so if I stand up, I'm hip distance. Take that foot, good.
So they go like there?
Yep, exactly, yep. And now, so already I can see you don't like where we are because you're wanting to lean away, right? You can feel that in the outside of the hip.
Right here, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I can feel it in my standing hip and this hip. Now, I don't want my shoulder to touch the wall, and that's part of the work, okay? I want to avoid that. So now from here, you're just going to unplug your back hip and bend that knee just slightly, maybe 30 degrees, and then stand up. This leg is not gonna move because it's glued to the wall. Ooh, I can feel it in my hip big time already. Good, keep going, yep. And then, so we're getting activation of that VMO, the inside muscle of our knee, as well as both of our hip abductors that are responsible for this, right? So all the time, tennis, you're moving side to side. So we want to get we want those muscles to be firing, we want them to be strong, and that's what protects our knees.
Are they firing all right?
They're firing, yeah. So spin around and set yourself up on this side, and you can maybe repeat the key points so you can help others.
So this leg goes against the wall. With our heels and our knee both touching the wall. My shoulder is not. I'm gonna push my hip out.
But not touching the wall.
But not touching the wall. And then my left leg in this case is directly underneath me. And then from here, pushing against the wall, and then I'm gonna bend.
Yep. And it's really important that it starts from the hip, that you're not just jamming your knees forward, you're bringing your hip back first and then working through. Yeah, really good. And I would say too, you have good movement, so you're already there, but make sure that this foot is pointing straight ahead. Okay, because some people will be external rotators and walk like this, and they'll set up like this. And then you're doing this and jamming on your knee all the time. And then the knee, I would say we like it to track kind of around the second toe. So you don't want that knee falling in the midline. You don't want it going way out. You want to kind of have it tracking over that second toe. If you have a knee pain or a knee issue, just slide this foot down the wall and put it on the floor, but keep the same pressure in, but now you're taking a little bit of your body weight away. Maybe move it in so it's right in line with the other one. Yeah, there you go. But still push into the wall and see how that takes a bit of the heat off, but you're still getting the same work because you're exactly, So those are our prehab. And again, the best way to figure out the perfect prehab routine for you is to get an assessment with a strength and conditioning coach or a therapist to find out, shameless plug, but for real, like if you've got a shoulder issue, go and get it checked out. Don't wait. Make sure that you've got mobility in your T-spine. You need to have movement in your shoulder. You got to be able to move through full range of motion. If you can't move through full range of motion pain-free, you're going to struggle in tennis. You're going to be compensating, and then all it does is it shifts things from now it's, okay, I fixed my shoulder, but I just haven't fixed the issue. It's my elbow. You see it all the time.
All the time. Yeah,
exactly.
All the time. Perfect. That was great. That was really amazing. Yeah. Learned a lot today. Some of the exercises that I've never done before either, so that was very helpful and informative. If you liked the video, leave us a comment below and let us know if you want to see more of Sarah. We're going to be posting a mobility routine soon as well. That's going to be maybe in a couple of weeks' time. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, go ahead, and so you know when the next video comes out. We will link the description for Active Life Conditioning in the description below, so go check them out. They offer tons of group classes like yoga, Pilates, individual training sessions. They also have chiropractors, physiotherapists, and mental performance coaches as well. So any other services you might need, they have them all. Check them out, and we'll see you all soon.